Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of me, Bae and J. Today, we are going to be talking about when your partner isn't enough. Yeah, it's not an easy conversation. Want to know more about it? Stay tuned.
You can hide it, 'cause I feel you, never let you go. Boy, I know our love is strong, even when sunlight turns to stone.
So welcome back to me, Bae and J, guys. Thank you for joining us today. We are talking about something that's a little bit more of a sensitive subject matter. And before we get into it, make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you get all of our videos when we upload them. And without further ado, we're going to jump into it.
And make sure that you stay to the end to really understand how even we in a throuple had to let go of monogamous type thinking. This is ethical non-monogamy, after all.
Correct. So what are we talking about when we say when your partner is not enough? Like, what does that mean? I think it means different things for different people, but for us specifically, what do you think it means, T?
I mean, I think I can do it best by giving an example. So when we got together 11 years ago, you know, I loved Heather and I loved everything that she brought to the relationship. And I also recognized that she brought things to the relationship that Jeff needed that I didn't necessarily bring. And there was a certain point where I was very okay with that. And then, you know, as time goes on and things happen, there's a feeling of, but why wasn't I enough? And I think it really goes, you know, you have to dig deep into yourself and realize it's not about you not being enough, but that you don't have to be someone's everything. And that's completely okay. It may hurt, but it's okay to not. That's actually a tall ask to be someone's everything.
And you said it may hurt. You know, I think that it's a good example of growing pains.
Yeah.
Because when you can shift that narrative and you can come into a different understanding and you find yourself in those types of situations, so now it's easier to empathize with your partner, you recognize that what you move through when it hurts, those are your growing pains.
Yeah. And also, you know, it's nothing that they did on purpose or nothing that we've done to each other on purpose. It is, you know, likes and dislikes, things you like to do, things, you know, that you've grown out of or maybe grown into and other people haven't. And again, those are growing pains.
For everybody listening and watching us out there, somebody may very well be your everything, or you may feel that way, that's also fine, right? But it's more of a rarity than it is, you know, a commonality that we share in relationships.
Being honest, you know, with yourself and your partner.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's not that someone is out looking for what their partner doesn't have. It's that they come across a person or they encounter someone and feel a connection and feel like, I really like this about this person. Like, I really enjoy this, and this is something new and this is something different. But especially if you're talking about, I mean, I say two different genders, like male and female, but it could be male and male, it could be female and female, it could be whatever, right? You still feel nervous about, what does this mean for my relationship? And does it lessen my relationship? And how do I tell my partner that I feel all these warm and fuzzy things for someone else without making them feel less than? Or like Letitia said, not enough.
Tripod fam, a question for you. Whether you're in a monogamous or non-monogamous relationship, has there been a time when you haven't felt like you were enough? And were you able to overcome that? How? How were you able to overcome that?
Yeah. On the flip side.
Or on the other side.
Yeah, right.
That's what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
You know, or was it the opposite? Did you find that your partner wasn't really enough, 100% of what you needed in your romantic life?
Yeah. And we're gonna shift this narrative from wasn't enough, because it's not really did you feel like your partner wasn't enough. Did you feel like you wanted something more, something else, something in addition to what you have that you may love with your partner?
let's switch that from
Shift
a
that
negative
narrative.
to a positive.
Yeah. So we're gonna shift into when one of us hasn't felt like we were enough, or when one of us has felt like we wanted something in addition to what we already have as a throuple. Bae and J.
Yeah. Here, bring it to us.
Yes.
All right. You
So
want to
that-
talk
So
about
yeah, so I'll go first. So everybody knows Jeff and I have been together for a long time, and our relationship can be very sibling-like, to where we fight and argue terribly, to the point that like Heather is like the mother, like, would you guys stop it? Like, oh my god.
It's so funny.
So yeah, it's funny, but like we'll have our argument, and literally 2 minutes later, we're
right
together,
back to it.
talking
Yep.
to each
Yeah,
other.
it's true. Laughing and joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't share the romanticism that Heather and Jeff share between the two of them. And we got together at 16 and 18, and they got together at 29 and 30.
Yes.
Very different, very different journeys.
Yeah.
And so at first it was something that I didn't think that I needed, that I was good to kind of be like the loner. I know I'm the introvert, that's my identity. I was good to be that, good to be the loner and just, be with them kind of like when I wanted to. And I was fine with that until I was kind of presented with a different situation, and I was able to experience some of the things that they experience, some of the things that we experience in the beginning that we no longer experience, or not that we don't experience it, it's just different.
It's different.
It's just different.
When you've been together for as long as we have, a lot of times people don't make it this far.
Yeah.
But when you do make it this far, sometimes it can turn less.
It shifts.
Well, yeah. So
I
I'll say
think
that.
there's seasons,
Mhm.
I think
It
there's
shifts.
seasons to relationships in general. Like the
Yeah.
relationship that you have as a teenage love is very different than the relationship you have as people in your 20s with kids.
Yep.
It's very different than the relationship you have at 50 when your kids are out of the house. I mean, these things, they shift.
Yeah, sure. That's a good way of putting
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So we've been together a long time. Needless to say that, right?
But yeah.
So yes, I'm in a situation where I'm able to experience some of these feelings and outings and things that I want to do that they don't necessarily want to do, and things that they want to do that I don't want to do. And it was tough, to say the least, I think, at first.
It wasn't easy.
It wasn't
Let's say.
easy for a long time.
Yeah.
Wait, but
Yeah.
what wasn't easy?
I think.
Having the conversations and evolving.
Well, and I think admitting it.
Yeah.
I think admitting, because let's be clear, this is my core. These are the loves of my lives. This is it for me. I'm not going anywhere. But admitting to myself that I can have some of the things that the two of them have without the two of them is scary. That was very scary for me. And that they can have the things that they have without me. And we can still come together, connect, be a family, even though we may be going on different journeys at different times. Romantically,
Yeah.
if that makes
Romantically.
sense.
Yeah. And over this course of this journey, we've felt compersion and jealousy and, all the emotions that are mixed up in relationships and different dynamics. We felt all of those towards said situation. And, there were some difficult conversations and there were some trying moments, but as we do in normal Bae and J fashion, we figured out a way past it and through it. And we did it with love and honesty and communication.
And tears sometimes.
And tears.
And some
That's
tears.
Right. Yep.
Yep. I think it's so important for everyone to realize that these conversations are not easy. It's not just this easy flow all the time. There are times where you have to have these hard, challenging conversations, And you have to always incorporate the other things that we've told you all about before in the past, which is be calm, create a safe and loving space to have the conversation. Don't take things personal. You know, these are things that we say over and over because they are literal tools in your communication box for being honest with yourself and honest with the person or persons that you want to spend the rest of your life with.
All of these things that she just mentioned are foundational to a healthy relationship. Not only with your partner or partners, but with yourself. And which is the first relationship that you have. And if you can't have a healthy relationship with yourself and have these hard conversations with yourself and admit these things to yourself, then you'll never be able to have a healthy relationship outside of yourself. If that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
There you go.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So I will say, I think for me, it's helped me appreciate them two more.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate because they're different.
We are, yeah.
They are extroverted. They enjoy being out, being seen, drinking, kind of like just go with the flow.
All that is true.
And
It is.
I don't go with the flow very easily.
But
so
she's a good sport.
I have
sometimes.
She can be.
She can be a good sport.
Yes. So I don't remember where I was.
That's okay.
Where I was going.
You were saying you appreciate us.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
our differences.
Yeah.
It makes me appreciate them. The differences that we do have. Those differences are actually very beautiful, and the fact that we can still come together and be like, where we gonna eat at?
Yeah.
Where we gonna travel to? We still enjoy each other, the three of us,
Yes.
Yeah.
even though we may be doing some other things that are outside of the three of us.
We're such each other's foundations that those differences really are the things that bond us to each other, because we really complete each other in a beautiful way. Like whatever we lack in, whatever that is, there's somebody else that's strong in that area. And so across the three of us, we create this like beautiful balance of consciousness and loyalty and communication and trust and order and organization and planning and how much more can I say?
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a secret. Y'all want to know a secret? You gotta wait till the end.
Oh Lord, I want to know. The
Right, I
secret.
know, we
don't know the
nervous.
secret.
Hold on, let me tell y'all off camera. Okay, so the secret really is when you entertain other people, you realize how much you like what you have.
Yes.
That's a good secret.
And so when people be like, when you're afraid to actually give your partner that space, let me tell you something. There is so much more to the saying that if you allow something to go and it's meant for you, it will come back.
That's true.
Because you go with somebody else, you'd be like, wow, I really, really like what I have. And I didn't have to ruin it to find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, but that's
but
very
wait,
true, right?
that was the secret I'm just telling y'all. I'm
Okay.
not telling it to them yet. I'm
Oh.
telling it to them at the end.
That was Letitia's example. So on to my example.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt a level of not being enough, or some emotions about not being enough with the situation that we just discussed. And it took, again, I'm really good at soul searching and asking myself these hard questions and stuff like that, but I have a lot of practice in it. It really took a lot of doing that to get past that feeling of inadequacy and that insecurity. And we made great strides, and it, while we had trying times, it was still a very healthy path through something very challenging. So the biggest piece of advice that I'm gonna give you guys from tuning into our channel is that you have to let go. If you're in a non-monogamous situation, or you're interested in non-monogamy, you have to let go of some of the monogamous thinking that keeps us in that box. What would you say?
I would also say, don't go down into a rabbit hole of not being enough for someone, that, not being everything for someone, especially if it's non-monogamous, and changing that narrative to saying whatever you do provide is beneficial for the success of the relationship. And that doesn't diminish anything else, and it doesn't put another person on a higher pedestal. You give different things to a relationship, and you take different things from the relationship.
So my advice would be to have honest conversations with yourself and with your partners, as well as recognizing that going from monogamy to non-monogamy is not something that happens overnight. It happens with difficult, honest conversations. So don't be afraid to have that. Just because you have the conversation doesn't mean that you're trying to jump into a relationship the next day. That's my biggest advice.
Excellent advice.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We're going to wrap this episode up.
Yeah.
Make sure if you haven't already that you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you know when we upload new videos, and make sure you like this video if you've enjoyed it.
Leave us a comment down below. I know y'all got questions.
I know, questions and comments. This was juicy. Biggest takeaway, shift your narrative. Shift your narrative from not being enough or someone else not being enough to just wanting something in addition that will probably strengthen your core.
Yeah.
Just saying. From experience.
All
right, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this episode of me, Bae and J, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Later.
All right. So how much